Hello everyone, it's Aisha Ochuwa again, and I welcome you to this episode where we'll be talking about advertisements. We all know what advertisement entails. It means making awareness, creating awareness, trying to reach a new audience. This is just an informal way of describing advertisement. So, creating awareness, trying to make a new audience or your existing audience know of the availability of certain products and services you have to offer. It is done. Sometimes we do it without even realizing. For instance, this is an advertisement of my product. I'm wearing my necklace. My brand designed it. And anyone who sees it and says, "Oh, nice necklace," the next line of action is to swing into advertisement. "Oh, it's from my brand. I made it. You could get it from me." That's an advertisement, an informal advertisement. So in one way or the other, we have advertised a product, either for ourselves or for other brands. When you wear a Gucci shirt, you're advertising their brand. When you wear a TM Lewin shirt, if you're a man, you're advertising the brand. Advertising your brand is an inevitable part of running a business. You should be your own walking billboard. I say this all the time. Vendors should be their own walking billboard. If you, for instance, sell jewelry, you should have some pieces of jewelry, stacked up, maybe bracelets, necklaces, earrings, something that could start up a conversation. You could be on the queue in the bank and, someone sees your necklace and says, "Oh, very nice. Where did you get it from?" And you have an opportunity to advertise your product. You could, make bags, be a bag manufacturer and carry a very nice handbag. Someone sees it and says, "Beautiful leather. Where did you get that from?" Your next line of action will be to advertise your brand. So the first point of contact is for you to be your own walking billboard. Talk about your brand everywhere you go. Even if it's not something that is tangible that people could see. Make sure at every conversation, every meeting, every point of contact with even one person, you get to talk about your brand. You're having a conversation with a stranger. Look for a way to infuse your business into it. Who knows? You could just be talking to your next customer. You're on a flight, you're seated next to someone. Look for a way to start up a conversation. Be your own walking billboard. Talk about your brand. You could be talking to your next investor without even realizing it. You'll be talking to your next customer. So that is an advertisement. That is an informal way of advertising your brand. Now, moving on, there are different mediums through which you can advertise your brand for formal advertisement. There's the television, there's radio stations, there are billboards, there are, social media platforms. And because the world has become so digitalized, different social media platforms have created an opportunity to advertise your brand. For example, Instagram has created the sponsored adverts. Now, it's under the Meta brand and it's available on Instagram and Facebook. So if you major on any of these platforms or both of them, you should totally utilize this opportunity. Sponsor posts, advertise your business, reach new audience, and the beauty of this is that they also give you an opportunity to target an audience. So you could target the desired audience you want to reach out to. Another form of advertising is infusing your brand name and logo into your branding. For example, if you're into manufacturing, make it a point of duty to add your brand name, brand logo on your products. For example, if you're into clothing, try to include your logo or your brand name. That way, people seeing it and admiring the textile don't even need to ask the person where the person got it from. Just looking at it, you already know the name. Oh, this is a TM Lewin shirt. Oh, this is a Gucci shirt. Oh, this is a Versace shirt. It just shows. You don't need to ask. For example, if I'm wearing a Playboy shirt, you wouldn't need to ask where it's from. You already know it's a Playboy shirt. And if you like it, you go on their website and get it. That's how advertising works. So people buy all these big brands. That's why people wonder why these big brands, keep reaching new customers and get bigger. That's because they have made their customers advertise for them without even realizing it. So the customers like the idea of wearing something expensive, something luxurious, and they're proud to wear the brand name. So because that brand name is there, people who see it and like the style go get it without even starting up a conversation in the first place. That is a very good way of advertising. So if you sell clothing or sell, products where you can bags, clothing, where you can easily infuse your brand name, make it a point of duty. Why do you think people who manufacture doors and certain household items include their brand name on it? Quality control, they know they've done a good job in producing something amazing. What's the next line of action? Add your name, advertise, let the product speak for itself so that when people see it and admire the work, they come for it. The very first step to achieving an effective marketing campaign is targeting the right audience. What does audience targeting mean? It means identifying a certain class of people who may be interested in the goods and services you have to offer. Now, when you target the right audience who you think have the capacity or will be interested in the products you have to offer, that way you'll be able to convert your marketing campaigns into sales and profits. Now, this brings me to the fact that not everyone who sees your products may be in need of them. So if you just throw in a campaign without targeting the right audience, you may just be wasting your resources. But if you target, a certain age bracket, for instance, now we have the Gen Zs, and there are certain products that the Gen Zs will be interested in and certain services they'll be interested in. If you sell crop tops and mini skirts, then your best target audience will be the Gen Zs and the young ones. If you throw it open and your marketing campaign goes to the older generation, they are most likely to be uninterested, probably even irritated by your marketing campaign, because they will wonder why you are being so revealing and why you are offering products like that, bulky jewelry, lots of makeup. They may have something negative to say about your campaign. But if you target that kind of campaign to the Gen Zs and the youngsters, they will be so interested. Mini skirts may still be their thing at that age. So it's important to target the right audience who will be interested in what you have to offer. Now, there are different types of audience targeting. We have the demographic, we have the psychographic, we have the behavioral, and the geographic audience targeting. Now, let's break this down in bits. Let's break each of them down in bits so you understand to a great extent the difference between these types and what they stand for. The very first one we'll be breaking down is the demographic audience targeting. It's very simple. It means narrowing down your audience targeting to age, gender, religion, behavioral data such as online browsing history. You'll be surprised how important this online browsing history is. Now, let's take the social media platforms for an example. Instagram has this thing we call the Instagram algorithm. Now, the Instagram algorithm brings out similar posts to what you like. So when you narrow down based on the online browsing history, the algorithm picks up what you want and starts to show people, advertisements that are similar to what you offer. For example, someone who is interested in artificial lashes, strip lashes, and goes on Instagram to search for strip lashes. Instagram brings out everything about strip lashes, takes note of that search, and starts to give them everything that concerns strip lashes as they search from page to page. That's why you notice sometimes that when you check for handbags, for the next couple of days, all that comes to your explore are handbags. You keep seeing handbags, different handbags. It's making use of demographic audience targeting and the browsing history of the people who you intend to be your customers. So that's one way to target an audience. The next one is the psychographic audience targeting. This means targeting an audience based on their lifestyle, their values, their interests, and their personality. Let me give you an example. If you're into the sale of luxurious items, then your best bet is to target the upper class. Now, how do you attract them? You have to create a marketing campaign that will appeal to their emotion and their lifestyle. By doing this, you may want to show off, luxurious cars, luxurious clothing, expensive jewelry, sophistication and class. That way, that class of people will be interested in even seeing your advert in the first place. Now, it's only normal that people who do not have the ability to afford such products will skip your adverts. But one thing is sure, you will attract the right type of people. And there's something about the psychology of humans. Even people who cannot afford that kind of lifestyle, people who cannot afford your products will help you market. They want to share to other people. They want to associate with it. So they find themselves advertising for you without even realizing it. So it's a win-win. Number one, you're appealing to people who cannot afford it, making them hope that one day they can afford it. So they are saving your posts, they are liking, they are sharing. That way, the algorithm of the platform through which you're advertising takes it to a wider reach. So that way, you're touching every corner. You're reaching people who you intend to reach, and you are also encouraging people who cannot afford it to help you advertise. So by making use of the psychographic audience targeting, you're appealing to the lifestyle, to the reason behind their purchasing, the reason that engineers their purchasing power, the luxurious lifestyle, the sophistication, the show of power, the show of class. You're showing them what your products can do for them. For example, a luxurious suitcase, creating an ad campaign that shows a very powerful man all suited up coming down from, let's say, a chopper or a very expensive car, holding your briefcase, sitting down, opening it with bundles of US dollars. There's a certain kind of emotion you will trigger. So people who feel they can measure up to such a lifestyle will feel that your luxury suitcase is the best bet for, storing their luxurious items. So that's the way to appeal to the psychology of humans, and that's where the psychographic audience targeting comes in. The very next type is the behavioral audience targeting. Just like the name implies, this means narrowing down your audience targeting to, certain behavioral traits. It could be their purchasing patterns and brand loyalty. What items do they like to search for? What items do they like to buy? These different social media platforms through which advertisements are very easy have different ways spotting out different behavioral patterns of their users. For example, Instagram again. If you go to your Instagram settings, you can track your activities. That's the same way the app has records of everything every user does. The search history, every single thing you do on the app, there are records, and the algorithm tracks them. So the behavioral audience targeting simply means narrowing down your audience targeting to the behavioral patterns, the behavioral traits of your desired audience. The very last type of audience targeting we'll be discussing is the geographic audience targeting. Simply put, narrowing down your audience targeting to certain locations. It could be a country, it could be a state, it could be a certain locality. And this type of audience targeting makes it easy for brands to work with influencers. Makes it easy for brands to establish partnerships within that location. If a company that has its main business operations in Lagos wants to branch out in Abuja, it's only wise that during the advert post to create that awareness, the company targets the audience in Abuja. Now, the company can work with influencers in Abuja. The company can create partnerships with other brands that offer similar products or complementary services in Abuja. That is what the geographic audience targeting is about. So before targeting your audience, you should even understand who your intended clients are. You should sit and create a market survey. Create a proper analysis that will help you understand the type of people that will be interested in your products in the first place. Once you understand that, choosing the appropriate audience targeting technique will come in easily. That way you can decide if you want to make use of the demographic audience targeting, the psychographic audience targeting, the behavioral audience targeting, or the geographic audience targeting. Now let's talk about creating a marketing strategy. When creating a marketing strategy, the very first step you need to take is to understand who your target audience are. When you understand this, you know the kind of people that that will be interested in the goods and services you have to offer. And when you're able to identify them, the very next step is for you to, identify their needs. What are the needs of this kind of people who I think will be interested in my goods and services? Are the kind of products I have produced up to their standards? Or will they need extras? Will they need, the products to be adjusted in this way? Once you're able to identify their needs, you'll be able to come up with marketing strategies that will attract and keep them. This is similar to what we talked about the Gen Zs and the, upper class people who will be interested in the luxurious items. That is the first step to creating a marketing strategy. And there are different little steps to take when creating a marketing strategy. These are identify your target audience. You understand your unique selling points. You carry out a SWOT analysis. You use the right marketing channels. You create a marketing budget, and then you measure and adjust your strategy. Now, bringing it back to the very first one where you identify your target audience. We already discussed this. So applying all of what we discussed, using the different types of audience targeting techniques to pick the right audience for you. This way you identify the right type of audience that will be interested in the goods and services you have to offer. The second one is identifying your unique selling point. What is that thing that sets you apart from your competitors? What is that thing, you could leverage on? What is that thing that will attract your customers to you? That thing you are doing right that your competitors are not doing. Identify it. That's your unique selling point. And that is what you use to stand out from the crowd in the marketplace. The third step is to conduct a SWOT analysis. This simply means identifying your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. This gives you an opportunity to know your area, your strong areas that you need to push, you need to push forward more. Are there certain choice of words that you use that attract customers? Are there certain things they like to hear? For example, if you sell jewelry and they are anti-tarnish and hypoallergenic, you should talk about it more. Make it, a strong point of marketing. Let them know that these pieces of jewelry I have to offer will not tarnish. They are water friendly, they are sweat resistant, they will not irritate your skin. Even kids can use them. That should be your strong marketing point. Then you understand your weaknesses. What are the downsides of your products? How can you adjust them? If you point them out, will the customers buy? Or if you point them out, will they appreciate your honesty? So you should understand that part and then understand the opportunities you have, opportunities in e-commerce. If you advertise your products on Facebook, will they get to a wider reach? If you advertise on Instagram, will they get to a wider reach? Understand your opportunities and then your threats. Who are your competitors? What are they doing, to stay ahead of the game? Is there something you can do to top them? Is there something they are not doing that you can do to get a wider reach? Understand. Create a SWOT analysis to help you identify all of these. The next step is to make use of as many marketing channels as you can. Make use of billboards. Make use of different social media platforms. If you have your business on Instagram, you also have it on TikTok, you also have it on Telegram, you also have it on Twitter, you have it everywhere. Try to advertise. See, there are different people on different platforms. Yes, it is understandable that there are people who have accounts on all of these platforms and will probably see it on all of these platforms. But I promise you, there are certain people who are on Instagram that are not on Facebook. There are certain people who are on Facebook that are not on Telegram. So advertise on all these different platforms. And for people who have accounts across all these platforms, if they see your advert on Instagram and pay little attention to it, and they see that same advert on Facebook, they see that same advert on Telegram, they start to think there's something about that advert that they need to pay attention to. So utilize as many marketing channels as you can, as long as it is within your budget. Now, this brings me to the fifth point of creating a budget. Make it a point of duty to have a certain amount of money for sponsoring your adverts. Have a certain amount of money set aside to reach a new audience. It is a business. It is a going concern. You don't intend to stop anytime soon. Therefore, there should be no limit to reaching new customers. You should be intentional about getting new customers every week, every day, every month. Make it a point of duty. Create a budget to cater for your advertising needs. Now, the sixth point is revisiting your strategy and making adjustments when necessary. You should review your marketing strategies from time to time, and as trends change, make sure you adjust and follow the new trends. The marketing strategies that were applicable 2 years ago have changed a lot now. The things that appealed to people 2 years ago no longer appeal to them now, and there are new things that they now like. Some years ago, people did not know what skit making was. They probably knew what it was, but did not pay attention to it. Now, brands are greatly utilizing the skit market to reach new customers. They are coming up with creative ways to portray their message. They are making use of influencers. So make sure you revisit your marketing strategies from time to time to cater for the new generation and the new type of audience you want to reach. Don't make use of old strategies to reach new customers. Revisit it. Look at the new trends and try to infuse them into your marketing strategies to reach the customers you desire to patronize your brand. After After going through the process of creating a marketing campaign and sponsoring your advert, it is important for you to track your performance. Know how your advert is doing. Know if it is reaching the right type of people so you can make adjustments early enough. So don't just run your ads and leave them to the fate of, the application you ran it on. Monitor your adverts, track your performance, know if you are getting the desired results and if there is room for adjustment, if there are other things you can do to get better results, if you need to increase your marketing budget, if you need to change the type of audience or change, the type of audience targeting technique that you used. I told you there are 4 different audience targeting techniques. So know if the one you made use of is working for you. If it isn't, then quickly change it. This is why it is important for you to track the performance of your adverts so you get the right type of results. So in all, make sure you always advertise your brand online, offline, anywhere you go, in your house, to your friends, friends, neighbors, strangers, on the bus, in the bank, in school, everywhere you go. So imagine telling 2 new people about your brand every day for 1 year. How many days do we have in a year? We have 365 days in a year. Times 2, that is 730 people in a year. That means even without, running any formal adverts, just by your word of mouth, you have gotten 730 new customers. Now, even if all of them do not patronize your brand, at least 30% of them will patronize you. So it's only profitable. There are no downsides to it. Advertise your brand offline. Be your own working billboard and make use of the different channels for advertisements to increase your reach. When you do this, the sky will only be the starting point for your business and you will make a whole lot of profits.